Alright, today we're going to learn how to use Mastercam X7 to engrave, which is actually its simplest form. But there's a few tricks along the way. We're just going to pretend we're milling, but we're going to actually do engraving. So we're just waiting for the software to load. It's our first time loading it, so it always takes a few minutes to load when we haven't been on it yet today. So we just have to be patient, and we'll accept the licensing agreement when it pops up. So once that's done, then we'll load in an AutoCAD file. Doesn't matter what version of CAD we use anymore because don't even have to do the agreement. So all right, so let's get that loaded in here. So still loading a bit. So file and open. And we're going to open an AutoCAD file from the Tech Handout folder. Again, we're just going to do simple engraving. So I'm going to find the O drive. There it is. And go to Tech Handout. All my stuff is in Tech Handout. And of course, we want to open an AutoCAD file. So we're going to go down here to CAD. And all the CAD files within the Tech Handout folder will pop up, and we're just going to use the lesson for Mastercam file. And we're going to do layout number 1, and we're going to do screen fit. And what we're going to do today is we're just going to pretend that this is a big piece of acrylic, and that we're going to engrave both this inner border and the star and the words car into this surface. It's actually really pretty straightforward. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure we pick our machine that we're going to be using. So it's mill, and this is ours. It's the one with the Torcam Pro B as the post. So there it is. So there's our machine. It's already there, and we can open this dialog box up. That's got the post in it. If I click this, you'll see the post is there. There's the post right here. It's in the Tech Handout. And then the next thing is tool settings. And we can just call this program number 1. It really doesn't make any difference. And the material we'll use, go to the library. So, and we'll just use plastic acrylic. There we are. And we're going to assign any tool numbers in their order sequentially, starting with tool number 1. So that's done. Now we're going to do stock setup. I already know that this piece is 10 by 14, so I'm just going to set that up. And this is 0, 0 down here in this corner. So Y is 10, and X is 14, and acrylic is 1/8 of an inch thick, so 1/8, or you can do decimal 125. Doesn't really matter. And don't forget to click display to display the stock. When we click the box, you'll see the red lines to indicate that virtually the part is set up and ready to go for when we want to verify what it looks like. We're going to do toolpath, and of course all we're going to do is a contour, and we're going to call this lesson engraving lesson. So there we go, and checkbox it. And we're going to make a window around what we want to engrave. So polygon, and I'm going to start selecting all the way around. And then if you notice right here, we're just going to read it. It says double click or hit enter to end the polygon. So enter. And it's asking where do we actually want to start the engraving. We can start the engraving anywhere. It doesn't make any difference, but I'm going to start right here in this corner. I mean, I'm across, the cursor's already there, so it makes sense to me. So I'm going to select. See how everything changed color? It's because all of that has been selected as what you want to engrave. And so we're going to green checkbox that. And of course, there it is. It's a contour, so that's set up. Now we have to get the right tool. So we're going to go to Tool. And we're going to select the tool from the library. And these are all the engraving tools. If you want to get to all the different tools, you hit filter. And you can see all the different kinds of tools here. You can do none of them, and then you can turn on the ones you want to use. So we want just the engraving tools, and so we're going to hit the checkbox. And the engraving tool that we own for our mill machine is 3/4 inch 60-degree engraving tool. So I'm going to select it and checkbox it. And I'm going to set the speeds. So the feed rate is how fast it goes and whips around. So 60. Plunge rate is how fast it goes into the material, and then the retract rate is how fast it pulls out and moves to the next starting point. So 60, 10, 60, and then I'm going to put a comment that I'm engraving with 3/4 inch tool and down 0.03 inches. So it's always good to write a note just to remind yourself of what each of your tool paths are. We only have one, so it doesn't really matter for today, but when you have lots of them, in order to stay organized, you're best to write a comment. The next thing we're going to go do is cut parameters. And because we're engraving, we're going to turn the computer off. You'll notice that the tool is to one side of the path or the line. We want to run the tool down the center because that makes sense. We want the engraving to go right where the lines are. So we hit it, turn it off, and you see how it moved the tool into the center of the tool path. We don't use tip compensation. We always use center compensation for all the tools that we're going to use. So this page is done and ready to go. We're going to go to lead in, lead out. We don't want it, so we're going to turn it off. So turning it off, there we go. And the only other thing that we have to set is the linking parameter, and this is where we put in the depth. So we're going to go minus 0.03. And that's it. We're going to checkbox it, and you can see all the tool paths are indicated, and we can virtually check this. So we're going to select all and verify. We're just being patient. It's our first verification, so it's generating a 3D picture of our engraving. So again, just be patient. And hopefully it's coming up at some point. There it is. Okay, and we're going to go isometric. There's our piece. And then we're going to hit play. Very cool. So it looks really good. So we're going to close that down. And because it's perfect, we're going to go in and we're going to post it up. So posting's right here. So again, just good habit, select all and post. And there's the post, C-Torcam NG Pro B. That's ours for our machines. So we're going to say OK. And it's going to ask us what do we want to call it. And we're going to go, yeah, that's what we want to call it. We're going to go to the, I'm going to go to my M drive and to my X7 folder. You would also probably go to your M drive. You probably have a folder for your projects. And I'm going to save this. There's the code experts writing the like it's taking the post, writing the code, taking these tool paths and turning them into GCode. And GCode's a universal language, that's why you get this sort of globe. So once the G-code's done, then we can put it on a memory stick, take it over to the machine, and mill out our project. So, and there it is. There's all of our G-code for the engraving right here. And because we are only using the engraving tool, we're going to slide right down here. The only thing that we have to change is the second last line, which says that it's working in absolute, and it's not really relevant anymore. So we're just going to back that out of there. And we're going to go to the home position. X 0, Y 0, Z 1. It's always good to go to the home position when your program is finished. In other words, it'll just go home and then turn off, and then it's easy to take your part out when you're done. So we're just going to resave that, and then we'll be ready to go. All right, and that finishes that lesson. Beauty.